Hello, everyone. This is Ben Dunn, your AP Sensei, founder of Analytic Press, a comic book company started in 1985, celebrating its 40th year. Also, creator of such comics as Ninja High School, Warrior Nun, Marvel Mangaverse, Tomorrow Girl, and a host of others. So, yesterday, Saturday, was Free Comic Book Day. And yes, it was Free Comic Book Day, and there was a lot of comics to be handed out for free. It seems like nowadays you hardly get anything for free, but yesterday you got free comics. Of course, anybody will tell you that nothing is for free, so somebody had to pay for it, and your local retailer, publishers and creators all took time and effort out of their way to bring you, the reading public, free comics in the hopes that they will win you over and get you to become fans of what they produce. So I was there for Comic Book Day. The local comic book store I went to was Dragon's Lair, located on Fredericksburg Road in San Antonio, Texas. And it's also one of the better comic book stores, doing just fine. And considering all the things that are going on right now, it's kind of nice to see that there are comic book stores still thriving, even in this questionable and anxious environment that we're living in right now. So anyway, I picked up a whole bunch of comics. I don't know if they ordered every single title that was available for Free Comic Books Day, but these are the titles that I picked up. Now, I'll be honest with you, there's something like 30 some odd titles here, so there's a lot. I didn't have time to read it. I'll be honest with you up front. I'm just going to go by the cover and flipping through it and give you my instant opinion, so to speak. So the first one is the Minecraft the manga. Now, I swear to God, they'll make a manga of anything. It's like, if there's any subject out there, any subject at all, they're gonna make a manga of it. So I'm not I'm familiar with Minecraft, and it is here's some of the manga art in there. Very simple, obviously done very quick. Now this isn't Minecraft; it's something else. I think it's some other title in here, that they shoehorned in. See if I can find out what it is. Anyway, um. It's called Beyblade. Yeah, anyway. Minecraft, the manga. Not for me. My kids played Minecraft, but I wasn't too. Didn't understand it at all. What can I say? I'm a boomer. So the next title is called Bad Kitty. Okay, Bad Kitty by Nick Bruel. I guess it looks sort of like a Scholastic type of comic book. Very simple art. Obviously appeals to the kids. I think they're trying to attract the Dogman crowd, but just flipping through it looks kind of, I don't get it. It looks pretty, not for me, let's just say. There's a one called Toy Box by Keen Spot. Never heard of Keen Spot, but here's one of their titles. Toy Box, kind of a generic title. Just flipping through it, looks like there's a bunch of several stories. Now here's one I'm very familiar with, Kung Fu Legume. I actually did a cover for the creator at one time. Congrats, they got on the Keen Spot. Very good. Seems like there's several other stories in here. Also seem to be aimed at a younger crowd. Not for me. Now this is interesting. This is a Will Eisner comics biography. Now this is weird because it's got a UPC code, and usually you don't usually put a UPC code unless you're selling it. So why would someone put a UPC code on a free comic book? Now, it is kind of interesting to look at. It's got sort of that indie look to it, the sort of simplistic. If this was a manga, they would go into a lot of detail, but apparently they were probably trying to appeal to sort of like a indie comic reader crowd. Very scratchy artwork, which is, I guess, fits it. I will tell you, I can always predict what's going to happen in this book is that there's an artist who has to go up against the publishers, and they're being screwed, and they had to fight for it, and that's it. I don't have to read the book to know what the outcome is going to be. So now here's one called the Dr. Seuss graphic novels. Now, really? You're doing graphic novels on Dr. Seuss? I mean, what is that? I mean, a graphic novel implies that it's going to be something really, really something special. But I mean, really, this is considered a graphic novel these days? Ugh. I mean, what are people thinking? Yeah. Now I heard a lot about this one called Mark Spears Monsters. You know, it seems very cool. The cover seemed kind of cool. Just flipping through it, I don't know what to make of it. It looked kind of, to me, the art's really good, very good art, but just flipping through it, the story looks kind of You know, this doesn't look like there's really much going on. You know, I mean, it just some clown talking. I don't know. Maybe it's a better story than I expect. Picked up 2000 AD. Didn't know they were still in business. Apparently they are. Still doing the Judge Dredd thing, of course. That's their big thing. You know, keeping Judge Dredd alive. They got to keep that IP going. It's the only thing that's probably really selling for them. Let's see. This looks like another manga. It's called Isaac. Isaac. You know, that's a terrible logo, gotta say. It's hard to read, you know, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Is Isaac or Isaac or Isaac? I don't know. Don't get it. Looks like one of those mangas that a little bit more mature, kind of strange, you know, to be artwork looks really cool, you know. Seems to be more aimed at a mature reader, you know. It's just by flipping through it. Some not for kids situation. Okay, this one's from Dark Horse. It's called The Mighty Nine. So I assume this is something to do with Germans, because nine is German for no. So I guess it's Mighty No origin. So I guess this is an origin story, you know. Got some weird, quirky characters in there and kind of weird looking stuff going on. You know, very minimalistic art. You know, I guess it fits whatever story they're trying to tell, but it does not reflect. I mean, it's kind of strange. It's got some quirky characters who I have no idea who. What happened to just doing comics about just one single character? Now, this one will probably is aimed at the nostalgia crowd. Thundercats and Powerpuff Girls. Now, who would think that would be a team up that would have actually happen? But here it is. You know, I mean, they'll team up anybody with anything these days. You know, it's kind of, you know, simplistic artwork. Definitely aimed at a younger crowd. So, who knows? That might be worth reading just to see what kind of crazy story they come up with. All right, this one's from Viz. It's called Kagura. You know, Viz, you need to really start giving titles that people can pronounce. You know, it's hard for people to like, oh yeah, I just read that new manga called Kagurabachi. Kagurabachi. You know, not anything to do with hibachi. It's called Kagurabachi. You know, I mean, it looks kind of cool. Looks kind of violent. You know. It's kind of definitely aimed at a mature readers crowd, maybe a young teen, who knows. Haven't read it. So here's another team up book, Street Fighter versus Rival Schools. Now I've heard of Street Fighter, never heard of Rival Schools. So I assume this is an appropriate team up of some sort. Definitely sort of says it all, doesn't it? You know, very, very cool artwork. You know, nice coloring. But who knows what the story is about. I'm pretty sure it's pretty simple. Okay, this one is from DC, surprising enough, called Kanga-Yu. 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 Kanga, Kanga, Kanga. Kanga, Kanga, Kanga. It's about a society of, dare I say, kangaroos. I mean, sure, why not? Don't know if it's any good. I guess it's a fantasy world populated by kangaroos. So I guess it's got a Wonder Woman, linked to it somehow. Um, I guess might be an interesting read. Definitely aimed at a younger crowd. Well, it is what it is. Now here's where something I thought was disappear, but Speed Racer is back. Go Speed Go! Go Speed Go! And all the crew is here. Racer X, everything else. I was kind of wondering when they were going to bring this back eventually. And at least they kept the original sort of design, just only did slight, changes to it for the most part. But good. I'm glad that for once, they're actually keeping it to this original design. Don't know if it's any good. Don't know if I may want to read. I may read it just to see what it's like. But I'll be honest with you, racing comics just never was my bag of tea. All right, so here's another book from DC called All In, Superman Unlimited. I did flip through this, and I guess this is the front cover. I'd show the back cover because it's got Superman on it. I did flip through it, and something about it just doesn't. It's not fun, Superman and Batman, and I just don't. Maybe I'm just an old fogey, but I remember superhero comics being fun, and this does not look fun. This looks like just the same old deconstruction of superheroes, where they're either being very meta or being very violent. It just, what happened just fighting good old fashioned bad guys and villains? All right, this one is from the Red 5 Comics. Red 5 Comics spent some money to promote Snow Monkey. And I will tell you that it's not a snow monkey, but I guess he's got the powers of a snow monkey or something like that. It's fairly decent, and coloring looks pretty good. Don't know what. Of course, it's a girl. I think, yeah, another girl hero. Nothing wrong with that, but whatever happened to guy heroes? We need to see more of those. Anyway. So Disney's bringing back Gargoyles, and the colorist on this is Robbie Beavard. He used to work for Antarctic Press. He used to do a lot of Ninja High School. In fact, he was the writer of Ninja High School for a long time. He helped me with the Sadoshi storyline, and of course, he does this incredible coloring job. Robert Beavard, one of the better comic colorists for sure. And lo and behold, Gargoyles is now part of the MCU. Or not MCU, but the Marvel Universe. MU. Of course, got to keep the Phantom going. Don't want to fall into public domain, so got to keep that things going. It's one of those, people don't realize how old the Phantom is, but he's pretty old and probably will fall into the public domain fairly soon, but not if King Features has anything to do with it. They're going to make sure that they'll keep the trademark and the rights to this for as long as they possibly can. But, the thing about it is time waits for no one. Okay, this Godzilla from IDW. Godzilla still doing comics. And they actually did a comic called Godzilla New Heroes. I had no idea they had the license still. I thought that Dark Horse or somebody else picked it up, but yeah, it's okay. I guess they're trying to do an extended universe, set in the Godzilla universe. Good luck with that. Maybe it might work. Maybe the story's really good. I don't know. I have my doubts, so to speak. Let's see. This one is Black Mirror from Twisted Comics. Now, I must have gotten a defect one because apparently the stapler, you see here, got stapled in the middle. On the book. It was not, it was could this be a rare misstapled version? I don't know. We'll see. doesn't even have completed artwork. They just went ahead and we can't get this book out on time. Let's just go ahead and do pencils. Yeah, that's better than nothing. No one will notice. No one will ever know. Well, I don't know. I noticed it, and I have no idea what's going on. It looks like one of those small indie books where people just talk and do stuff, and not much really happens, to be honest. Who knows? Maybe it is good. So here's one from Titan Comics, Conan, Scourge of the Serpent. Scourge of the Serpent, where Conan fights another giant monster animal thingy, and he seems to fight a lot of those, you know what I mean? I like for once where, he confronts a giant animal thingy, and the animal says, "Hey, what's with you, bud? What's going on? Why are you attacking me?" Just for once. Pretty good, interesting art. I bet the story is probably typical Conan. Let's see what else. And some sort of twist at the end. I'm not going to reveal it, but there you go. This one's called Post Malone's Big Rig from Vault Comics. That seems like a pretty. Is this something like what was that Stephen King one with the Big Rig in there? Sort of reminds me of that. Some interesting black and white artwork. Very nice, actually. I'm very, very impressed by it. Don't know what's going on. Might be worth a read. Looks like it takes place in some post-apocalyptic world, where for some reason there's plenty of gas, and so we'll see. All right. And Scotty Young's I Hate Fairyland, still doing it for Image Comics. I guess he just does it whenever he feels like it. I don't know what the thing is about, but it's got a lot of prose with illustration, so maybe it's a good read. Don't know anything about it. Might sit down and take a gander, see if it's something entertaining. And let's see here. This one is called Fine from IDW. It looks like a horror anthology. A bunch of various stories about, I guess, with a horror theme to it. Might be good. I think it's got a little short story for Beneath the Trees. We finally get to see that. I guess it's sort of like a, anthropomorphic film noir type thing, where sort of like a Zootopia with a serial killer on the loose, I suppose. All right, this one is a weird one. Transformers Worst Bot Ever. If this character actually takes off, this could be a valuable issue, but I tell you, just based on what I've seen here, I highly doubt it. Okay, so this one's from Vault also. Well, Vault did quite a few this time. This one's called Def Leppard's Hysteria. I always wonder how much you could actually do basing a comic on a rock group. I mean, maybe it could be done. I don't know how interesting it could be. I mean, it looks like it's got some interesting art in there, but again, I just don't know. Just don't know. All right, this is from Marvel, I think. Hulk Teach from Scholastic. Yeah, I was gonna wonder about time Scholastic teamed up with. I don't know. If you're a kid, do you think you'd want to read this? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I'm not a kid, but I tell you, it looks pretty weird. Pretty weird. Then again, it could be very popular with the kiddos. This looks like something adapted from their Disney Plus TV shows. Less said about that, the better. Young Jedi Adventures. Yeah. Sometimes it would have been better if just we waited 6 years between movies, but now it's just like it's like they're diluting the brand. They really are. They're just diluting the brand. I can understand them wanting to get kids, but I tell you what, kids loved the original movies without all this stuff. It's just make good movies, for God's sakes. Energon Universe. Again, Transformers comics. You know, big freaking robots fighting each other. You know, still going strong, even from the 80s. You know, so I guess there's something to be said about the fan base of Transformers. They just, you know, will support anything. All right, so this is Marvel's DEI comic. You know, Marvel Voices. Yeah, yeah, not for me. Who cares? I don't care. Star Wars. Now, pretty nice cover, I think. Now we're connecting the prequel with the original trilogy. And, yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay. I haven't. I mean, it looks just like a typical Star Wars comic, you know. Got Luke Skywalker doing his thing. And, it's probably better than anything the movies have offered so far. I mean, I almost guarantee it. Let's see. Marvel Amazing Spider-Man Ultimate Universe. Here it is. You know, I've always kind of wondered about the multiple universe because, you know, it's got Miles Morales in it, and he's dressed up exactly like the regular Marvel Spider-Man. Now, if this was like the Ultimate Universe, don't you think they would have a Spider-Man that looked different? I mean, what are the chances of two universes having a Spider-Man and coming with the exact same costume? You know, it's highly improbable, if you ask me. Let's see. Superman's Good Guy Gang. Again, I think it's meant for readers, but you know, the art, it just, you know, I loathe to criticize, you know, other artists because it's just not what I do. But if I was a kid and I looked at this, I mean, is this something you'd want to read? I don't know. You know, I was reading when I was a kid way better, more sophisticated thing. I mean, it just screams Dog Man to me, you know. And then of course we have the last of the bunch is the Fantastic Four comic. Now, why didn't the movie dress the characters like this? This is the Fantastic Four, you know. I mean, maybe it'll be good. I mean, it looks interesting enough. You know, some of the art looks pretty good. I guess they're bringing back the Fantastic Four. You know, and again, UPC codes all over here. In fact, the UPC codes all over here too. You know, I mean, I guess there's a reason for it. Maybe for the stores, you know, to keep track. How many free comics did we get rid of today? You know, let's check the UPC codes. Anyway, that's my stack. That's my quick opinion of the material I got. I hope you had a great time at Free Comic Book Day and picked up a lot of free comics and enjoyed them. You know, this is just my opinion. You may disagree with it, and that's fine. You know, you do whatever you do, and you like whatever you like. You know, no judgment here. Also, I have a Kickstarter campaign, Vampire Ninja Ono, Curse of the Hakken. You know, check it out. It's really a follow-up to the original Vampire Ninja Ono. It's about a ninja who's turned vampire, and she battles a werewolf turned hitman. So check it out. Link will be below. Until next time, this is Ben Dunn signing off.